Today, we're going to talk about 5 tips for starting a business. So over the last 8 years, I've started a myriad of businesses. So I feel like I'm pretty qualified to talk about this topic. I've started quite a few companies, of which Prism Lens Effects, Tropicolor, my production company, my film studios, of which we have like 6 studios, and I'm currently in the works of developing a few others right now. That being said, there's a common theme and denominator throughout all of these businesses. So I'm going to touch on what those 5 tips for you starting or wanting to start a business is. Find a passion. Enter into a business that you enjoy, that you like, a field, an area that you enjoy. For me, it's filmmaking. So all of my businesses relate around filmmaking or creativity. You have Prism Lens Effects, which is filters for, cameras. You have Tropicolor, which is post-editing assets for editors. You have my production company, which is actually the first company I started, but obviously a production company making videos. From there, film studios, a place to shoot, other filmmakers to shoot. So everything for me stems around my passion, which is film and video production. So the first thing, you have to enter into something that you enjoy. If you don't enjoy it, it's going to make it hard to want to get up and work hard daily, grinding on that thing. Because when you're starting a business and trying to grow a business, it isn't easy. So by falling into something or trying to get into something that you don't enjoy is going to make it very hard to grow that business. So first off, find something that you enjoy. Number 2 is identify a gap in the market. Every business I've started has basically come from finding a problem and solving it. With Prism Lens Effects, it was, prisms and always wanting to hold different glass items and things in a frame, and there was never a way to fully mount it. And same thing with like prisms, split diopters, and then we figured out a solution of like, oh, this is how we can mount it and use it for, filmmaking and photography. And so but it didn't exist. We searched the web, we searched everywhere, and we could not find a solution or someone that was doing it. So we created it. A gap in the market, and then we attacked it. So you have to find basically any sort of problem and then solve it. A gap in the market that doesn't exist, and then you fill that gap as your business. Same thing with Tropicolor. When we started it back in 2016, there weren't really any sites that offered all these digital assets and effects for filmmakers and photographers at an affordable price point. There were some companies that were more like plug-in based companies that were expensive yearly subscriptions or, one-time $300 fees for like certain plugins and things. And so it's just like, hey, like, we already create all these effects and assets and scan film for our videos and our projects. Let's just do that on a higher level and allow other people to buy it. And so we built a company around that because, again, there wasn't really something out there that existed like that. So identify a gap in the market and attack it. 3, form an LLC. You need to officialize your business. You need to register it. You need to protect yourself. Starting an LLC will protect you and your business. If something goes awry and someone tries to sue, the business, you personally cannot be basically attacked for that. The LLC protects you personally and your personal finances, everything you have. The only thing they can do is come after that business and what it has. So just got to be formal, create an LLC, but also protection. And it's super important that you just, obviously, if you're starting a business, you can't, 5-10 years down the road, not have any sort of formalized business. So right away, start an LLC. I started it when I started my production company back in like 2011. I went for about a year just kind of like under the radar. I mean, I was still in college, and but it was like right when I got out of college and graduated, I hired a CPA and had her help me form an LLC, or form and file for an LLC, and I created JAKOB OWENS Productions, which is now like Buff Nerds Media. Number 4, and probably one of, if not the most important ones, is surround yourself with the right people and form a team. You cannot do everything on your own, period. That goes for filmmaking, that goes for business. There's just too much to do for you to do it on your own. So you need to find people you trust and build a team. Every time I've built a team, the businesses have taken off because everyone has their specific skill set. I'm very good in one area, but this other person who's on the team is very good in this area and does things that I am not able to do, such as the earliest thing I can give you a sense on is Tropic Color. I was great with editing and building and creating the assets and doing the marketing and all that stuff, but I had no idea how to build a website, how to get the products uploaded to a server and create these, these digital downloads that were easy and seamless, etc. And that's where my partner Tom came into play. He handled all that back-end stuff, website development, the servers, all that stuff, and it made it easy to kind of build, start, and grow the business. Same thing with Prism Lens Effects. Now we have a whole team in our warehouse and customer support and people building and everything. And now I can sit back and just focus on marketing, and Tom can focus on some of the back end website stuff and development. And now we've hired an agency to come in and do stuff. So you have to build a team that you can trust and grow. You cannot do it on your own. Certainly starting out, cool. If you don't have the money or resources to hire a team, but at least try and find a partner that can really help you get things off the ground, because I don't care what it is, you cannot do it alone. And if anyone says they've done it alone, they haven't. Lastly, number 5 is always stay ahead of the curve, social media. Social media is one of the biggest benefits to starting and growing any business. I totally attribute all of my businesses getting off the ground fast and doing well because of the social media presence that I've had. Think about it. If you have 100,000 followers and you start a business, you are able to right away basically be able to market to for free to 100,000 people that trust you, follow you, like you, and want to support what you're doing. If you don't have that following, you now have to pay and work to get your brand, name, business in front of people. Social media is free marketing. It's marketing to people that already are invested in you and trust you. So staying ahead of the curve, not only with, just what you're doing as a business and social media, but focusing on social media, because it's basically a head start to anything that you want to do. Look at these celebrities that have, this huge following and drop, let's say Kylie Jenner, for example, drops a lip kit line, wants to start a makeup line, drops it, instantly becomes one of the biggest brands because of her name, following, and just recognition as one of the Jenners. One last tip, I'll just throw it out there, is keep your overhead low. When you're starting out, don't dive off the deep end into something that's just like where your overhead is so high. Small bites at a time, grow from there, hire someone else, like, you know what I mean? Like, take those baby steps. Don't just jump in crazy off the deep end to where your overhead is just so high and you're stressed and worried about trying to maintain that overhead and keep a profit. Start small and take those baby steps. Same thing with our studios. We started with a very small studio, and from there you just kind of grow and get a bigger spot and a bigger spot and more employees and people on your roster, and so it's always a growing process, kind of like climbing that ladder, if you will. And so keep overhead low when starting out so that you don't just drown yourself right from the jump. And that's it. Those are my 5 tips for starting a business. Hopefully this helped. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment if you have any questions below. Usually in there trying to find questions that I can answer to help you guys. So with that being said, I'm done. JAKOB OWENS for the Buff Nerds. I'm out. Peace.